Chief Presidential Legal Advisor Salvador Panelo says inmates convicted of heinous crimes but released via the Good Conduct Time Allowance should all be brought back to jail to serve their full terms. The Bureau of Corrections said since 2013, some 2,000 heinous crime convicts have been given the release orders after supposedly earning enough good conduct points. The number includes the more than 800 released this year. But Panelo says the law is clear.
The law is very clear. Republic 10592 is very clear that those charged and convicted of heinous crimes, escapees, habitual delinquents, and recidivists are not covered by the law.
So, paano?
Obviously, dapat makabalik sila sa kulungan until they serve the full term of their service.
In a statement, Senator Kiko Pangilinan said he wants to know how the inmates were evaluated and who decided which convict to release. He also asked if money changed hands. After sounding the alarm on 14 Chinese drug lords that have supposedly been freed from the National Penitentiary since June, Senator Panfilo Lacson suggests good conduct time allowances have been up for sale. Lacson claims that 3 Chinese drug lords were released just last month. Lacson said his larger concern is over a possible pay-for-play scheme at the Bureau of Corrections. The senator has in his crosshairs Bureau of Corrections Chief Nicanor Faldon, whom he says has repeatedly been a blight on President Duterte's anti-corruption agenda. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency has expressed dismay over the Chinese drug lord's reported release. PIDEA Director General Aaron Aquino says laws may have been broken to free the prisoners. And apart from the supposed release of the Chinese, Bucor says nearly 2,000 people convicted of heinous crimes have been released since 2013. Police Chief Oscar Albayade says all they can do is monitor these inmates released for good behavior.
GCTA na sinasabi. Well, sabi ko nga, baka nakasaad naman sa batas natin, wala tayong magawa. No? But if there is, alam mo na, kung merong bigayan dyan, sinasabi na nga ni Senator Lacson, then hindi po tama yun.
3 convicts in the 1997 rape slay of the Chong sisters have also reportedly been freed for good conduct. Again, that's according to Senator Panfilo Lacson. Lacson says he has requested copies of the prisoners' release orders. The senators, citing an anonymous source, says it was not Bureau of Corrections Chief Nicanor Faldon who signed the documents, but rather a subordinate. Marijoy and Jacqueline Chong were raped and killed in Cebu in July 1997. 7 suspects were convicted. 1 of them was detained in Spain. Based on our laws, there are only 4 ways to gain early release from jail or prison. First, the Good Conduct Time Allowance system, which almost freed convicted rapist and murderer Antonio Sanchez. Second, parole. Third, executive clemency. And fourth, well, death. Let's discuss each one. Through the GCTA, an inmate is assessed by the Management Screening and Evaluation Committee, or the MSEC, comprised of the chiefs of the Bureau of Corrections and the Bureau of Jail Management and the jail warden. They look at and compute the good conduct credits of an inmate and give recommendations if he or she may be released early. But the victim's family must be notified about an inmate's potential early release and could challenge it within 30 days. In the case of former Calauan Mayor Antonio Sanchez, the Sarmenta and Gomez families said they were not informed of the plans to release the convicted rapist and murderer. Parole is a conditional early release handled by the Board of Pardons on Parole. Minimum requirements to be eligible for parole include serving the minimum sentence first. The inmate must have also paid all indemnities. Those meted reclusion perpetua, or those guilty of treason, espionage, sedition, coup d'etat, piracy, and mutiny are disqualified from parole. Executive clemency is granted by the President based on recommendations of the Board of Pardons and Parole. Clemency can come in the form of reprieve or the postponement of sentence, commutation, or the reduction of prison terms and pardon. Clemency also has minimum requirements. For commutation, the inmate should have already finished 1/3 of his minimum sentence. For pardon, he should have served half of the minimum sentence. For heinous crimes, he should have served half of the maximum sentence. But we all must take note of the revised rules and regulations of the Board of Pardons and Paroles. It states that those considered for pardon and parole must be made known to the public before the approval, much less their actual release. The rules also state the factors that must be considered by the board before giving a recommendation to the president. Those factors include the gravity of the crime, the inmate's behavior, if he has shown any kind of remorse, and of course, if he might continue to pose a threat to his victims or to the larger community.